We tend to think of a home repair as a pretty standard thing. A leaky pipe is a leaky pipe, no matter where you live, right? Well, what if I told you that wasn't true? Today, we're going to talk about how these unseen local factors, stuff hiding in your town's history, even in the dirt under your house, can turn a simple fix into a massive headache.
We've all been there. It's the middle of the night, and you hear it. That drip, drip, drip. It's a sound that can fill you with dread. But that little sound isn't just about a worn-out washer. Nope, it might be telling you a much bigger story. A story about the very ground your house is built on. Think about it this way. The pipes running through your walls are kind of like your home's circulatory system. They bring the fresh water in and take the wastewater out. It's this vital, hidden network. And just like any living thing, that system is shaped by its environment, by its age, and, you guessed it, by its history.
So let's get specific and talk about what we're calling the Lancaster complication. This is where we see a problem that seems universal, like a clogged drain, get incredibly personal. All because of location, location, location. Here's the key takeaway. Your home is not some generic box. It's a direct product of its time and its place. And to really see what that means, we're going to zoom in on one town, Lancaster, New York, where the plumbing problems are as unique as a fingerprint. So in Lancaster, a plumbing issue is rarely just a random accident. You're actually fighting against some very specific villains. You've got the brutal Western New York freeze-thaw cycles that put incredible stress on pipes. Then there's the soil itself, this heavy shifting clay that makes foundations settle and puts a strain on all those underground lines. And then there's the history that's literally hiding inside the walls. And this problem gets worse over time. Turns out, the year your house was built is one of the best clues to what might go wrong. Was it built in the 50s or 60s? Well, it probably has cast iron drains that are hitting the end of their lifespan right about now. A house from the 90s building boom. It might have those old polybutylene pipes that are getting brittle and are just waiting to crack. Two completely different eras, but both are basically taking time bombs. And here's the really scary part. This isn't a problem you can see. It's invisible. Until it's a catastrophe. Those old cast iron pipes, they don't just get a little weak. They're literally rotting away silently, corroding from the inside out, creating these rough surfaces that catch everything until, one day, it all just gives way.
Okay, so if the problems are this specific, this ingrained in the local DNA, it makes sense that the solution has to be too. And this is where you see the huge, huge difference between a general handyman and a true local specialist.
Local expertise isn't just a nice marketing phrase. It's a real, tangible skill set. It means knowing that the frost line in Erie County is 42 inches deep. It's recognizing the telltale signs of a failing cast iron pipe just by the age of a house. And it's knowing the local building codes like the back of your hand. I mean, the difference is night and day. A generic contractor might totally miss the signs that your pipes are about to freeze in a cold snap. A local specialist? They know the Western New York freeze protection standards by heart. A generalist might just snake a drain and hope for the best. A specialist snakes a tiny camera down there to see exactly what's going on. And maybe the best part? They actually stock their trucks with the parts for the most common fixtures in Lancaster homes, so you're not stuck waiting for days. And then there's all the red tape, right? The playbook. A local pro knows the town of Lancaster's specific permit rules for, say, a water heater replacement. They understand the weird venting setups required in this area, and they make sure the whole thing is going to pass inspection on the first try, which saves you a world of hurt. So, we've covered what these experts know. Now let's talk about how they use that knowledge to take a moment of pure chaos, water everywhere, and turn it into a calm, controlled fix. Really, it all comes down to having a clear, repeatable process. No surprises. It starts with that first call and getting someone on the way. Then, the most important part, they figure out exactly what's wrong and get your okay before they touch a single thing. And finally, they do the repair and, this is key, they test it to make sure the problem is actually truly solved. But look, at the end of the day, the experience is just as important as the repair. It's about someone explaining the problem in plain English, telling you the price before they start working, and treating your home with respect. Drop cloths, booties, cleaning up after themselves, the whole 9 yards. And this whole approach is driven by a simple philosophy. It's not just about fixing what's broken. It's about empowering you, the homeowner, with real information so you get what happened, why it happened, and what you can do to keep it from happening again.
All right, let's bring all this home literally. We're going to wrap this up by tackling some of those questions you might not have even thought to ask, the kind of questions that start to uncover your home's own hidden story. So here's the big one. For anyone living in a place like Lancaster, this isn't just some casual question. It is a very real, very high-stakes problem every single winter. And thankfully, the answer is pretty straightforward and something you can actually do. Get those exposed pipes in the basement or crawl space insulated. When you know a really deep freeze is coming, open up the cabinet doors under your sinks to let the warm air from the house circulate around them. And leaving a tiny, tiny drip running from the faucet can be just enough to keep the water moving and stop it from freezing solid. Simple stuff that can save you thousands.
Okay, here's another one, permits. It's so tempting to just skip the paperwork and get the job done. But is that really a good idea? And the answer is a hard yes, you absolutely do. In Lancaster, any major work, like changing a water heater or touching a sewer line, requires a permit. And that's not just bureaucracy for the sake of it, it's a safety check. It ensures the work is done to code, which is critical for your family's safety and for the value of your home down the road. So when you pull it all together, you see that while we've been talking about plumbing in Lancaster, the big idea here is so much broader. Every single house, in every town, is like a living document. Its own unique story is written in its pipes, its wires, and its foundation. And that really brings us to the final thought, the question for you to take away. The next time something in your house acts up, don't just ask what's broken. Try asking, what is my house trying to tell me about where I live? What is your home's hidden story?